Daily Broadside day 497. I brought the Cobra out of retirement today. It's the first time I've driven this thing since I think early May, and the battery was dead. So just been sitting in the garage, and here we are. But it's a beautiful day out, I gotta tell you. I just stumbled upon a nice bar in downtown Winston-Salem. It's like it was an 1800s grocery store with these like 15-foot ceilings. It's on the corner, all these old leather chairs, and everything's like just old school. I'll show you some pictures here at the end of this video. But I just had a couple cocktails with egg white, bourbon, egg white, blood orange, a little coconut, some simple syrup. Call me bougie today, but that was quite delectable. I was impressed. There's just something great, and the only reason we stopped in this place was because of you ride by and like you could see, these old weathered leather chairs in the window of the corner of this business that just, it's 200 years old. It's just cool looking, right? Like the ambiance made you stop in there, and then you go in there and it's one of these fancy $18 cocktail places. But man, it was so cool. It was very neat. Anyway, I think that women that wear their pocketbook straps across their chest, delineating their tits, I think they're just showing off how big or how small their tits are. I don't think there's any other reason. It's not because you think you're going to get robbed or anybody's going to steal your pocketbook. I think you're just showing off how big or small your breasticles are. And you ever seen these people? It's always like women with single women with like a chihuahua or a cat or something. They got like blue or green hair that always seem to drive these cars. But these cars, and it'll always be some simple little tiny thing like a Mitsubishi Expo, or I don't even know what that is, but just some tiny little, the smallest, cheapest car you can buy, and it's just plastered from head to toe. The car's just covered in stickers. How do you sell that car? How do you sell that car when the motor finally goes out or it starts to get a little too expensive for you to own? You're like, I really need to upgrade to something a little more reliable. I need to get rid of this car. And let's say it's worth $1,800 on the used market. Does the fact that it's covered from head to toe in every sticker known to man of every independent band and skateboarding company this side of the Mississippi, does that make the value now make it worth $300? Because God knows it would take an act of Congress to get all that goo residue off of there. It would just, and nobody wants to ride around in that crap. I just couldn't imagine. And I was just, while I was in this bar, I was researching something about maritime disaster, and I stumbled upon an article about infectious diarrhea on a plane. On a boat, and I was like, holy crap! I was like, there's a thing called infectious diarrhea, and I thought it was like, you cough and then you contract diarrhea from somebody coughing, and like you would with SARS or the bird flu or COVID or something. But that's not. It was just gastroenteritis or something like that, and that's not really what I thought it would be. But I was like, God, this is gonna be a different world we live in if you can cough and give somebody infectious diarrhea to the point that they've got to be hydrated with intravenous drugs and they got to be hospitalized and all. And if you recall, if you were old enough to know better, in the late 70s, mid to late 70s, the AMC Corporation, American Motor Corporation, they made the Javelin and the Gremlin and CJ Jeeps and stuff like that. They had a Levi option that you could get to where the interior of your car would be made out of Levi's jeans. There was a guy in college that had a CJ5 with it, and it had a little Levi badge, a little red little badge that the Levi logo. And they're very sought after these days because it was an expensive option, relatively speaking, back then, and they didn't make a ton of them relative to how many they made. But imagine today if you went and you got a Kia Sorento, and I would also like the denim package in my car, and it's got like a little Levi's sticker in the headrest, and you're just riding around on jeans, just jean riding. I don't think that would be a very popular option, and nothing says comfort more than it being 80 degrees in August and you getting into your nice hot car and slithering down into a set of jean seats. I think it might have been a little bit nearsighted or farsighted, whichever one would be bad back then that somebody made that call. But people bought them, and here we are. Y'all have a great Sunday afternoon, Kitty.